All right, my beautiful souls. Today we're talking about why the universe does not test you. I repeat, the universe is not testing you. I'm so sick of these fucking YouTube videos where they're lying to you and telling you this. So I'm going to debunk it. I'm going to clear it up and I'm going to give you the truth so you are empowered. Hey everybody, my name is Kim Velez. I am a former trauma therapist, now turned life coach. I've had the privilege for 15 years of really just professionally helping people heal, transform, and manifest the life of their dreams. I had a very rough flu and cold several weeks ago, and I have this hoarse voice still lingering, so please excuse it. I'm hoping I won't cough because I still have a cough, but my body is fully restored. So at some point it'll all heal and be bye-bye. All right. So let's talk about this because this is like, listen, people only know what they know. So it's not, whenever I challenge the limiting beliefs out there, whenever I'm challenging people who are spreading misinformation, it's not from an ill will type place because people only know what they know. I remember 15, 20 years ago, I thought that too. I thought that the universe was testing me. Now I know better. And I have been teaching, more and powerful techniques, which is that there is nothing outside of us that is separate from us. There is nothing outside of us that is looking down on us or looking up at us or sideways or this way or fucking that way, right? And they're sitting here saying, oh, wow, let's just test her one more time. I mean, it's such bullshit and it's very disempowering. So what does happen when you start deciding and choosing a different reality for yourself? What happens when you say, you know what? I'm tired of feeling not good enough. I'm tired of being insecure. I'm tired of not being chosen, right? Now I am ready to be chosen. I am ready to be loved. I am fucking valuable. I've decided that this is who I am. So then why do we keep seeing the opposite? Because this is why people are incorrect and telling other people that when you see the opposite, when you've decided you want something different, or you start consciously manifesting, changing your thinking, start focusing on what you want, but you still see the opposite effects in your reality. Well, here's two reasons. The only reasons you need to know, and then I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't worry about them and why either of them don't matter, which one it is, and the solution for you to get what you want. So the first reason why, when we decide that we want something different, when we start affirming and changing our mental diet and focusing on a different outcome, and the 3D reality circumstances are showing up really shitty, highly unfavorable, or sometimes the absolute opposite of what it is you decided you wanted. Well, we all know that if your thoughts are creating your reality, well, then doesn't it make sense that even though you decided something different, that it didn't shift instantaneously? In fact, most people don't get the 3D manifestation instantaneously. Some things we do, most things we don't. That's why everyone talks about the power of persistence. Neville was really clear on this. All the spiritual teachings, everyone's saying, trust, you have to wait, it'll show up. Now, the waiting period is different for what it is you're manifesting and what's going on in your mind. So, but if you don't care about it when you're becoming the version of you that knows they're worthy to receive it, that's where I come in. That's why I, really dominated the self-concept, and now everybody's talking about it, which thank God, because that is the truth. That is the foundation. How you see yourself is everything, babes. It's everything. Okay. So just because you decided or you started changing your thinking doesn't mean I'm practicing not talking with my hands. I met with Justin Guarini, the American Idol guy. He's super nice, and his business partner, Kim Walsh, and she's amazing. I was at a mastermind in Vegas and they were there. And I was getting coached by them because I'm like, I want to learn from these people because she's so magnetic on stage and he is too. And so I was doing this storytelling exercise with them, and I'm this hand talker. And he was like, can you sit on your hands for a minute? And I sat on my hands and my body just went like this, and I just started, and he was like, do you see how I'm like, oh yeah. So anyways, I have to practice. I'm so used to talking with my hands. So we'll play around with it until I get comfortable with it. So you have to practice until I become it. Okay. So sorry, I was digressing. So having said this, When we start deciding we want something different, we change our thinking, it doesn't mean that the 3D reality is going to shift instantaneously. Again, sometimes it does, right? So you'll still see the effect of your previous thoughts. That's why it's dissipating. It had to play out, right? You were holding those thoughts for a long time. In fact, think of it like this. How many times, and I know this was me 100% in the past, when you're working a job that you don't like, that is not fulfilling, that you're actually dreading, when you decide you want a different job, most of the time, right now, we never do always, right? But most of the time, what happened when you said, you know what, I'm ready for a new job? You already were thinking for a while, whether it was days or weeks or months, that this job is not for you. You were noticing, observing things that you didn't like. You were probably complaining. You had feelings about it. Remember, our feelings are not what manifests, but your feelings guide you to let you know subconsciously what your perception is, what your belief is, because your thoughts create those feelings. So if you have shitty feelings, it's because you have shitty thoughts, period, point blank. If you have good feelings, that means you're focusing on good thoughts. So it's a powerful guide to let you know what is really going on in your mind if you're not aware of it. So most people, when they start, they decide they want a different job and they start focusing on that outcome, what tends to happen is, right, let's say the opposite starts happening. They get fired, or all of a sudden their boss gets more mean with them, or the experience just gets worse in some way. Like maybe a coworker is being a complete asshole that never was, right? Or maybe, I don't know, something happened. It's just something's happening in your 3D reality that's making the experience worse than what it was, or the opposite is showing up where you just got fired, right? So then people will say, they go in victim mindset because they don't know, they're asleep, and they're like, well, see, I said I wanted a different job and then I got fired. Well, no, you created a reality to get fired. Our thoughts cause the effect of our experience. So I know that's happened to me. When I don't like something, I was dwelling on it because nobody was teaching not to dwell on it, right? So my mind would say, oh my God, I hate working here. This is not fun. This person's an asshole. This is so boring. Like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Whatever, right? We have this negative story typically. So then the more you fixate on it, the more you're focused on it, the 3D starting to conform, right? You put it in motion. Again, most people are dwelling on this for weeks, if not several months, before they finally say enough is enough. I'm going to go find a better and different job. And then when they make that decision, boom, reality starts shifting. Well, it isn't because the universe is testing you. That's so stupid. That would imply that you are not powerful. That would imply that you have no say-so in creating your reality. That would imply that there is something outside of you that's deciding for you who you are and what you get to experience. That's not true. You are part of your universe, okay? All of us are one. All of us are tapping into the quantum field. You are allowed to create your reality based off changing your thoughts. So therefore, there is not an entity or something working outside of you that is making the final decision. That would mean that law of assumption doesn't work. That would mean law of attraction doesn't work. That would mean your thoughts don't create your reality. So we don't do disempowering beliefs on my channel. We do empowering beliefs, and we do facts. We do actual fucking facts, the truth. So with certainty and confidence that you are empowered. And look, I'm talking with my hand again. You are empowered and you are the creator of your reality, period, point fucking blank. There is no argument against that. Okay. So the universe not testing us. So what happened is you were holding the mental construct for a while that you did not like this job and kept focusing on it. You were embodying and being a version of you that hated the job, that didn't feel valued, whatever, right? It's different for everyone. And then just the timing of it, you just made a decision and then it started unfolding even worse. Okay, all that meant is it's playing out. It's playing out what you were previously thinking of focusing on. So how do you actually get what you want in a situation like that, right? Well, you look at those circumstances and say, all right, what I want is on its way now. Beautiful, perfect. I'm fired. Even though I feel scared right now, I'm the creator of my reality. I know I'm always taken care of. I know that my dream job's around the corner. I know that there's going to be massive amounts of money in my bank account. I know all my bills will be paid. I do not have to worry. It is all in motion on my way. Like you start focusing on a story that is empowering you and creating the reality you actually want. Okay. How does this happen with specific person in love? Well, I know this because I used to be a woman who had low self-concept in love until I reprogrammed that shit. My whole life changed. And I've seen the patterns because I've coached thousands of you, paid coaching, and then I've coached hundreds of thousands of you just watching my free content, right? And I see the patterns. I get to hear you guys leave comments, you email me. I see it in real time with the clients that I'm working with. And here's how it unfolds with manifesting an SP. So you decide, I'm worthy of love, I am worthy of commitment, and I'm going to be chosen because I'm worthy of that, or whatever, right? You have a more positive, powerful story, and you're taking ownership of the version that you want to be and what gets to happen to you in your love life, okay? So then all of a sudden, SP ghosts you, or you see or catch wind of SP with a third party, right? It's not the universe testing you. Universe does not test you. There's nothing operating outside of you trying to see if you're getting it or not. That's so stupid. What's happening is here go my hands. I don't care. It's playing out in the 3D. Okay. You, just because you started affirming, and even if it's been several weeks, even if it's been months, it doesn't matter, because most of you, when you come to me and you're like, I've been doing this for months and nothing's changing. When I start talking to you, I understand why nothing changed, because you haven't changed. You're still insecure. You still don't feel good enough. You still don't feel worthy. You're still attached to 3D. You're still seeking confirmation of validation from outside of you. You're still affirming, trying to make SP show up different, and you're not working on you showing up different. You're not worried about convincing yourself. You're still trying to convince SP to love you and choose you. So you ain't changed, baby. And if you ain't changed, your 3D isn't going to follow, period, point blank. It's going to keep showing you the same bullshit. Maybe you get a moment where you get a text where they say something nice, or they show up and they do something nice, but then it goes back to shit because you still don't know your worth and value. So I digress. So universe is not testing you. What's happening is when you chose to say, no, this is what I'm choosing to create for myself now. One, you don't believe it, so it is not a natural assumption for you yet. You don't know it as truth for you. You're just started reprogramming your mindset. You're doing this to convince yourself. And what you have believed, some of you it's decades, some of you it's just, several months of dating someone or having these experiences, or several years, but it's a pretty long time, which does not mean that it's the same amount of time to change it by any means. But you have to be realistic in the sense of, oh, okay, so it's still playing out, because for 9 fucking months, I've had a negative story about this specific person, and I just changed it 3 weeks ago. The universe is not testing you. You just need to persist. In fact, what's happening is actually a gift, because when circumstances show up that aren't in alignment with what you want, it gives you powerful information about you. It lets you know what story is still dominant in you. And when you get triggered and you start looking at your circumstances and you say, oh, you see, it's not working. Oh, you see, they don't want me. Oh, you see, nothing's changed. Oh, you see, I'm not good enough. I'm never going to get what I want, right? Whatever the shitty fucking story is, that is why that's letting you know that your self-concept is still not good. You haven't transformed your mindset to believe a different story about you, which is why you're still getting the same, maybe worse results. Now, if circumstances are showing up that are not favorable or the complete opposite, and you look at it and you're like, okay, this is what I used to do and it worked magically. I would say, I have no idea, but somehow, some way, this is going to turn around in my favor. That's what I would say, because that was true to me. I'm like, I do not have any fucking idea how this is going to turn around for me, but I know that it is. And that's what I chose to say. Okay. If I noticed when I had my old SP, who I manifested back and being in a relationship with, before I manifested him the version I wanted, when I would see him with other women, I would pay attention to what was going on inside of me, in me. Right. And then I would say, okay, so how am I reacting to this circumstance? Am I perceiving that she's better than me? This is why I can't get what I want. Because if I did, I knew that was self-concept work. And if I looked at it and said, oh my God, nothing's changing, then I would say, okay, see, I don't believe it's inevitable. And when you don't know something's inevitable to happen your way, then you know that you don't know your worth and value. So I would just look at that as an indicator of, okay, more work to do in me, no problem. It was actually very beneficial and helpful. It didn't feel good, but it was very beneficial and helpful to give me a clue of what was going on in me. So the universe doesn't test us, babes. The universe is not an operating force outside of us that we're not participating in at all. So we have to stop believing these false narratives and really start stepping into your power and owning your truth. Sometimes it can feel a little overwhelming. Sometimes it might feel a little scary to think, wow, my thoughts are creating all of this. I'm the cause of the effect in my life. But I want you to flip it around and say, thank God, because this is actually easier said than done. Let me rephrase that. This is actually easier than me having to try to control all these fucking circumstances and people outside of me, right? If it's only me, all I have to do is change my thoughts and change my actions, and I can manifest the life of my dreams. Wow, that is a lot easier than having to change me, change SP, change the boss, change the people driving on the road, change this, change that. Like, we'd be exhausted. And most of you are, because that's what most of you are doing incorrectly. You're focusing on the people outside of you, and you're working overtime because you don't know their worth. Like, you don't know your worth, them being different. You don't understand your power. So you're sitting here affirming 900 times to get someone to be different, to make you feel better, to prove to you that you're worthy and you're special and you matter, because you don't know you're worthy and you're special and you matter. That's why you need the validation. And when you understand this, when this clicks for you, you step into a very empowered, limitless version of yourself, and then you get down to work. Then you will start shifting your reality, because now you understand there's no one to convince that you're worthy and amazing and incredible except yourself. And once you do that, you don't give a fuck about 3D. 3D can't sway you. Nothing that's being said or done outside of you will shake your faith in the reality you want. All right, guys, I hope this helped. Let me know if you thought I did go with my hands. And see, I was just using this as an example too, in the sense that my whole life I have talked like this, right? With my hands and moving and this and that. And so I'm making a conscious decision to do something different based on feedback of someone I respect. Okay. So when I started doing it, I didn't do it perfectly. Why? Because I have to practice, showing up this way. I'm not used to it. I'm used to moving. So you saw in the video, right? I broke what I said I was going to do, and I raised my hands because it's automatic still. But the more I practice it, the more I'm intentional about it, the more I'm aware of it, I will master this. So it's the same thing with your mindset. I mastered my mind. I mastered my self-concept. I became a completely different woman, and I have a completely different life. And this is the tip of the iceberg. So just stay tuned, because you're going to keep seeing. I keep leveling up all the time, and my reality just follows, and you guys have been witnessing it for several years now. Okay. I love you. I have 2 announcements. So we have Maritsa and I, you guys know I'm working together. If not, we have our company Striking Brilliance, because that's what we believe. We're here to strike your brilliance and bring it out of you and support you in tapping into how brilliantly amazing you really are. And we have created our coaching certification program, because I decided to stop bitching and creating a reality where a lot of coaches are not equipped to help people. And I said, let me be part of the solution. And so we created an amazing program that is going live March 8th. This will be the only time that the entire program will be live. Going forward, the majority of it will be pre-recorded except for the live coaching calls. But it starts March 8th. It is, I believe that's the correct date. Link is below. You can read all the details. It's 3 months long. We meet weekly. We are teaching you the most powerful techniques that Maritsa and I, as therapists plus coaches, and all the treatment modalities that we have spent money on and been trained in, we have cherry picked and curated processes of what is really powerful techniques. And so we're sharing those. Like, I'm literally giving you guys what I do with my clients, because my clients that work with me fucking have massive results. And same with Maritsa. So we've done that. And then we're also teaching you like the basics of coaching. So if these these are for people that might just want a career change, right? Like maybe I used to be an accountant. I was like, I'm supposed to help people, right? So then I went back to school to become a therapist, and now I'm a coach. So it could be something like that. It could be you're already a coach, and hey, you want to learn some more tools and techniques to better serve your clients, because NLP is the main thing out there. And while NLP is not bad, it's just one way of doing something, and one way of doing something is not the answer. We need more ways so you can serve your clients better. But we're also teaching aspiring coaches that don't have experience, as well as the established coaches, the basics of coaching, of effective coaching, of how to really show up and be a coach. And then we're teaching you the mastery level techniques to transform. So that link is below. And then, of course, if you want to dive deep into your self-concept and love, or money, or just manifesting your dream life, or whatever you want to do, then I highly suggest my Striking Brilliance mindset coaching program with Maritsa and I. We have 2 sessions every month, as well as a couple emails in there that support you, journal prompts and actions, and just doing things that go with the topics that we're choosing each month. All the topics are rooted in these deep self concepts. Everyone is you pushed out, people pleasing, boundaries, self concept. I mean, it goes on and on. You get access to the replays. And what else? It's pretty amazing. So, and we've slashed the prices in half. Like, we really wanted to make this shit affordable and accessible for everyone. So super fucking cheap. It's costing less than a cup of coffee a fucking day. So no excuse. So I'm going to challenge you, if you're someone who's feeling called to help people professionally, or you're feeling called to really invest in yourself and do something different, then why aren't you, right? Like, why aren't you putting that in motion for yourself? And all the links are below. You can check them out. And if you have questions, you just shoot us an email. All right, guys. Love you. Bye.